The young and the restless spoilers Adam's torment, the search for Sharon for weeks. Chelsea had tried to understand why Adam had been so distant. Their son, Connor, missed his father terribly, and Chelsea herself felt abandoned. Adam had always been unpredictable, but this time, his absence cut deeper. It wasn't that he didn't love them, Chelsea knew that much. But something had pulled him away, something powerful enough to consume him entirely. That something was Sharon. Sharon had been missing for almost a week, and the entire town of Genoa City was on edge. Friends, family, and even those who didn't particularly care for her were worried. Sharon was a vital part of the community, a beacon of strength for some, a complicated enigma for others. But to Adam, she was more. She was someone he had always felt a deep, unshakable connection with. Chelsea had suspected for years that Adam's feelings for Sharon went beyond mere friendship. Still, she had hoped that, over time, those feelings would fade. Now, as Adam threw himself into finding Sharon, Chelsea couldn't help but wonder if she and Connor would ever truly be his first priority. A disturbing lead. Adam was relentless in his search. He scoured every lead, questioned everyone who might have seen Sharon, and stayed awake for days trying to piece together the mystery of her disappearance. While others believed it was a random incident or a tragic accident, Adam knew better. Sharon's disappearance wasn't a coincidence, it was deliberate. The breakthrough came late one night when Adam spotted a familiar face in Genoa City's shadows, Jordan, a woman with a history of questionable dealings and a penchant for manipulation. Adam had encountered her before and knew she was capable of dangerous things. Her sudden reappearance couldn't be ignored. He watched from the cover of darkness as Jordan moved through the town with an air of secrecy. Something about her demeanor was off. When she disappeared into the outskirts of the city, Adam made the split-second decision to follow her. The shocking discovery: Jordan led Adam to an abandoned industrial area near the edge of Genoa City. Adam parked his car a safe distance away and continued on foot, his heart pounding in his chest. She approached a storm drain, a massive, rusted grate that led into the city's underground sewer system. Adam watched as she glanced around to ensure no one was watching, then slipped inside. Adam's stomach turned. Was this where Sharon was? The thought of her trapped in such a desolate, filthy place was unbearable. He waited for a few moments before following, carefully descending into the damp, claustrophobic tunnels below. A nightmare revealed. The smell was overwhelming, stale water, decay, and mildew hung thick in the air. Adam pressed forward, guided only by the faint sound of Jordan's footsteps echoing in the distance. He had no weapon, no backup, and no plan. All he had was his determination to save Sharon. After what felt like an eternity, he heard voices. Hiding behind a corner, Adam peered into a dimly lit chamber. There, in the center of the room, was Sharon. She was pale, disheveled, and visibly weak, her wrists bound to a rusty metal chair. Tears filled Adam's eyes as he took in the sight. How long had she been here? How much had she suffered? Jordan stood nearby, muttering to herself as she rifled through a bag. She didn't notice Adam watching from the shadows. Adam's hands balled into fists. He wanted to storm in, to grab Sharon and carry her to safety. But he knew he couldn't act impulsively. Jordan was unpredictable, and one wrong move could put Sharon in even greater danger. Adam's emotional breakdown as he waited for the right moment to intervene. Adam's mind raced. Memories of Sharon flooded back, her laughter, her kindness, the way she always seemed to see the good in him even when no one else did. He had spent years trying to convince himself that his feelings for her were nothing more than gratitude. But now, seeing her like this, he couldn't deny the truth. He loved her. Tears streamed down Adam's face as he fought to keep quiet. He felt a deep, aching guilt. While he had been focused on his own life, Sharon had been suffering. And now, here she was, trapped in a dark, filthy sewer, entirely at the mercy of a woman who clearly had no regard for human life. "I'm so sorry, Sharon," Adam whispered under his breath. "I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you." The plan to save Sharon. Adam knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed to act quickly, but he also needed backup. Quietly retreating from the sewer, he called Nick, Sharon's ex-husband and someone who, despite their differences, would do anything to save her. "Nick, it's Adam. I found Sharon." "She's alive," Adam said, his voice trembling. "She's in the sewers near the old industrial district. But we need to move fast." Nick didn't hesitate. "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't do anything stupid, Adam." Hanging up, Adam returned to the sewer, his resolve stronger than ever. He wasn't going to let Sharon spend another second in that hellhole. The rescue. When Nick arrived, he and Adam worked together to create a plan. Nick would distract Jordan while Adam freed Sharon. Though their history was fraught with conflict, the two men set aside their differences for Sharon's sake. The plan worked. Nick confronted Jordan, drawing her away from the chamber, while Adam snuck inside. Sharon's eyes widened as he approached, tears of relief streaming down her face. "Adam," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "You found me." "I'll always find you," Adam replied, his voice cracking as he cut the ropes binding her wrists. "I'm so sorry, Sharon. I'm so sorry this happened to you." Sharon clung to him as he helped her to her feet. She was weak, but alive. And in that moment, Adam felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would protect Sharon, no matter what. Aftermath. The authorities arrived soon after, arresting Jordan and taking her into custody. Sharon was rushed to the hospital, where she began the slow process of recovery. Adam stayed by her side, refusing to leave even when Chelsea and Connor called, desperate for his attention. For Chelsea, this was the breaking point. She realized that while Adam might love her and Connor, a part of him would always belong to Sharon. It was a painful truth, but one she could no longer ignore. As for Adam, he faced a new challenge, balancing his love for Sharon with the life he had built with Chelsea and Connor. But one thing was certain, he would never let Sharon suffer again. She had saved him once, and now it was his turn to save her. This emotional and dramatic story sets the stage for further tension and conflict. Let me know if you'd like to add or adjust anything. Smiling face with smiling eyes. A risky plan, Adam's fight for Sharon. Adam paced the dimly lit alley near the storm drain, his mind racing with possibilities. He couldn't rely on Nick or anyone else this time. Nick, despite his good intentions, wasn't the kind of man who could handle a dangerous situation like this. Adam had always been the one willing to cross lines when necessary, and tonight was no different. He would rescue Sharon himself, no matter the cost. But Adam knew Jordan wasn't just any kidnapper. She was dangerous, cunning, and always armed. She carried a gun, and she wouldn't hesitate to use it if she felt cornered. The thought of her pulling that trigger near Sharon made Adam's stomach churn. A firefight wasn't an option. He needed a plan that avoided direct confrontation, something that would catch Jordan off guard. The danger of the underground. The sewer system where Sharon was being held wasn't just a labyrinth of tunnels, it was a trap. Adam had noticed earlier that Jordan had rigged the area with makeshift alarms. Bells, tripwires, and other crude but effective mechanisms were scattered throughout the underground chamber. One wrong move could alert her to his presence, putting Sharon's life in even greater danger. Adam's plan was simple but dangerous. He would wait until Jordan left the chamber to scout or gather supplies. Once she was gone, he would slip inside, avoid the alarms, and free Sharon. The challenge wasn't just timing, it was staying undetected in a space that seemed designed to expose him. The wait. Adam found a concealed spot near the sewer entrance and settled in to wait. The minutes dragged on like hours, every sound sharpening his nerves. His mind wandered to Sharon, imagining her alone in that dark, damp chamber. He clenched his fists, his determination growing stronger. He couldn't fail her. He wouldn't. Finally, his patience was rewarded. Jordan emerged from the sewer, muttering to herself as she adjusted her coat. She didn't notice Adam hidden in the shadows as she climbed out and disappeared into the night. Adam took a deep breath. This was his chance. Navigating the alarms. Slipping into the sewer, Adam moved with calculated precision. The faint light from his phone guided his steps as he scanned the area for traps. He quickly spotted a wire stretched across the floor near the entrance, attached to a small bell hanging from a pipe. Carefully, he stepped over it, his heart pounding in his chest. Further down, he encountered a series of makeshift alarms, strings tied to empty cans, shards of broken glass scattered on the ground, even a motion detector crudely taped to a wall. Adam's sharp mind and steady nerves allowed him to disable or bypass each obstacle, though every second felt like an eternity. As he neared the chamber, he heard a faint noise, Sharon's voice. She was alive. The sound gave him strength, pushing him forward despite the danger. The rescue reaching the chamber, Adam peeked inside and saw Sharon sitting on the floor, her hands bound and her head resting against the cold wall. She looked weak but alive, and her eyes lit up when she saw him. "Adam," she whispered, her voice hoarse but filled with relief. "It's me," Adam replied softly, kneeling beside her. "I'm getting you out of here." Using a small knife he had brought, Adam cut through the ropes binding her wrists. Sharon winced as the circulation returned to her hands, but she managed a faint smile. "You came for me," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'll always come for you," Adam said, his voice thick with emotion. But before they could move, a sharp sound echoed through the tunnels, footsteps. Jordan was returning. A dangerous confrontation. Adam's pulse quickened as he realized they were out of time. He quickly helped Sharon to her feet, guiding her to a shadowed corner of the chamber. "Stay quiet," he whispered, positioning himself between her and the doorway. Jordan entered moments later, her sharp eyes scanning the room. She immediately noticed the cut ropes on the floor. Well, she said, pulling her gun from her coat. "Looks like we've got company." Adam stepped into view, his hands raised in a show of surrender. "It's over, Jordan. Let Sharon go." Jordan smirked, her finger resting lightly on the trigger. "You really think you can just walk in here and take her? You've got guts, I'll give you that." Adam's mind raced. He needed to keep her distracted long enough to create an opening. "You don't have to do this," he said, his tone calm but firm. "You've already lost. The police will find you. Let Sharon go, and maybe you can still walk away from this." Jordan laughed, a cold, bitter sound. "Walk away? You don't know me very well, do you, Adam? I don't walk away. I finish what I start." The turning point as Jordan raised her gun, Adam made his move. He lunged forward, grabbing a loose pipe from the ground and using it to knock the weapon from her hand. The gun skittered across the floor, out of reach, and Jordan let out a furious scream. The two struggled, their movements wild and desperate. Adam's strength and determination gave him the upper hand, and he managed to pin Jordan against the wall. "Stay down," he growled, his voice filled with fury. But Jordan wasn't done. With a sudden burst of energy, she shoved Adam away and scrambled for the gun. Just as she reached it, Sharon stepped forward, wielding the broken chair leg she had been tied to. With a swift, powerful strike, she knocked the gun from Jordan's grasp once more. Adam quickly grabbed the weapon, aiming it at Jordan as she backed away, her hands raised. "It's over," Adam said, his voice cold. "You're done." Freedom and reconnection. After tying Jordan up and ensuring she couldn't escape, Adam called the police. Within minutes, officers arrived and took her into custody. Sharon, still weak but safe, leaned against Adam as they left the sewer together. Outside, under the pale moonlight, Sharon turned to Adam. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I don't know what I would have done without you." "You don't have to thank me," Adam replied, his voice soft. "I couldn't let anything happen to you." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the bond they had shared for so long reignited. It wasn't just gratitude or relief, it was love. The kind of love that had always lingered between them, waiting for the right moment to resurface. A new beginning. In the days that followed, Sharon began to heal, both physically and emotionally. Adam stayed by her side, refusing to leave her alone for even a moment. The ordeal had brought them closer than ever, and they both knew their connection was something they couldn't ignore any longer. For Adam, the choice was clear. He loved Sharon, and he was ready to fight for her, just as he always had. As for Chelsea and Connor, Adam knew there would be consequences for his decision. But for the first time in a long time, he felt certain he was exactly where he was meant to be, with Sharon.